Okay, welcome to practice. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming to our new time, which actually corresponds to our old class time when we were able to meet in person. So hopefully this is adding another little layer of normalcy in there as well, and at least kind of getting the schedule back to kind of where it used to be a little bit. And today we'll be working our way up the chakra system again, and we'll be spending some time with our heart chakra. So some heart opening today, and in all directions. So we'll work on that. And if you need some bricks or blankets, anything for under the knees, that'll be good. We will be doing, there's our Gracie. We will be doing a little bit of stuff on the knees today. So if you need extra padding, please go ahead and grab that. And the heart chakra, the unakite chakra, is associated with the color green, hence my green top today, and is also associated with the color pink. And I forgot to grab my stones, and I'll show you also. I've brought a rose quartz with me. Rose quartz is wonderful for helping to balance the heart chakra. And I've also got a piece of jasper. This is a green, kind of a green and pink jasper. I think it's called unakite, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So I brought that with me. And then if you're into essential oils, I've got geranium and lavender today that I put in my diffuser here. I'm sorry that you're not able to smell it. So if you've got essential oils, you can work with those either now or at any other time. And I know the cats are gonna get into this, so I'm actually gonna put it back for right now. All right, so let's go ahead and start in a seated position. We'll get ourselves situated here. Sitting up nice and tall, sitting well with a straight spine, starting to soften the eyes. We might even sit up on a blanket to help support the hips and let the knees draw down a little closer towards the earth. Softening the eyes, melting the shoulders back and away from the ears. Actually, let's do that intentionally. We'll take a nice deep breath in, filling up, taking the shoulders up by the ears, and then open mouth, exhale, letting it go. Good. Let's do 2 more like that. Inhaling, filling up, and then open mouth, exhale, letting it go. Good. 1 more time, inhaling, taking the shoulders up by the ears, maybe even a little squeeze here, and then open mouth, exhale, melting the shoulders down the spine as we come into some stillness. If we'd like, we can have the palms on the legs. Palms down is a little more grounded. Palms up is a symbol of receptivity. Or if we'd like, we can bring our hands to our heart space and find a mudra. We'll keep the the thumb and the pinky finger glued together, but let's open up the middle fingers. So the first finger, the middle finger, and the ring finger open up. And this is the lotus mudra. So just sitting here for a moment as we connect with our breath. Leveling the chin with the floor to create extra space in the back of the neck. Feeling the skin on the face soften as we feel the gentle rise and fall of the chest and the belly with each breath. And starting to picture a green crystal, maybe like a green diamond nestled right there at our heart center. If we're holding that lotus mudra, maybe we even Sense that green diamond right in the center of the mudra. The flower gently holding it. And we'll take 2 more cycles of breath here. Good, and then let's seal our fingers if our hands are at our heart space, and bowing our chin in towards our chest, just taking a moment to breathe into the back of the neck, feel the shoulders melt even more. And if we feel called, we can set an intention for this time together. It can be anything that feels good. Maybe we're calling more of something in. Maybe we're ready to release something that no longer serves. Or maybe you'd like to follow along with my intention today, which is to open up the heart space physically so that we can open up the heart space energetically as well, making it easier, more fluid, more graceful to give and receive love. So let's go ahead and release our hands, and we'll lift our chin, blinking our eyes open. And if we're seated cross-legged, let's go ahead and switch the cross of our legs for a moment, and bringing our hands up to our shoulders. So if this is hard on your shoulder, I've been healing my shoulder, so sometimes this gets really tired. We can bring the hands down maybe right over our heart, and we can still do the same movement. So I'm going to start with my hands on my shoulders and make adjustments if I need to. But let's start with a little bit of pranayama, some breath work. So on the inhale, we'll turn over towards the right, twist towards the right, and then exhale to the left. Let's do that again. Inhaling right, exhale left. Inhale right, exhale left. And we'll do that a few more times, going at your own pace that feels good. Three more times. Good, and we'll come back to center. Let's release our hands and just pause for a moment, maybe even softening the eyes. Notice what you feel, notice the sensations, letting go of any judgment or expectation or analysis, and just being with whatever is alive in this moment. And then let's blink the eyes open once again, and we'll place our hands either on the shoulders again or on the center of our chest. And let's do that same pranayama for our heart space on the second side. So this time, inhaling towards the left, exhaling right. Inhaling left, exhaling right. Inhale left, exhale right. A few more times. Find your own rhythm and pace that works for you. 3 more times here. Last one. Good, let's go ahead and release our arms, and we'll create some shoulder circles here, kind of let the arms go, and let's do those circles forward as well. So the arms are actually an extension of our heart center. Anytime we embrace someone or we shake hands, we're literally extending our heart space out towards the other person and embracing them so. When we hug, we press our heart center to someone else's. And if we've ever noticed when we hug someone, our hands just intuitively fall right at the back of their heart space as well. So just opening up that area today. Good, let's do one more shoulder roll back and down, and we'll do a side bend. Inhaling, reaching the arms up. On the exhale, let's take our right hand to the mat, reaching our left hand over, opening up the side body here. Feeling the sides of the ribs open up, maybe even spinning our gaze towards the ceiling, feeling the heart open towards the sky a little bit more. We're here for one more breath. Beautiful. And then on our inhale, let's bring both hands up. And second side, exhaling, left hand to the mat, reaching over towards that left side. Anything that feels good for the neck here. We can look straight down or straight up towards the sky, or maybe even just straight ahead, a neutral spine. Anchoring down through that right sitting bone as we reach through the left fingertips, opening up that side body. Inhaling, sweeping both arms up. Let's bring our hands back down through heart center. Good, and we'll do that 2 more times. Inhaling, sweeping the arms up, circling, palms together, exhaling down to our heart space. 1 more time. Inhaling, sweeping the arms up, gathering energy, exhaling, drawing the hands down to heart center. Good. So let's go ahead and come to all fours on our mat. And we'll line ourselves up well, placing the hands directly underneath the shoulders, the knees right underneath our hips. Let's spread the fingers nice and wide like little starfish on our mat. And we'll just move through cat and cow a couple times here. So on our inhale, opening our heart space forward, tilting the tailbone up and back. On our exhale, let's round the spine, tucking chin towards chest as we scoop the tail under. We'll move in this fashion a couple more times, pairing breath and movement. Since we're working on the heart center today, let's see if we can make the heart the fulcrum of our movement, so the centerpiece of our movement, feeling as if the heart itself we're sinking down towards the mat as the belly releases, and then seeing if we can arch the spine, lifting right up through that center of our chest towards the ceiling, towards the sky. Good. We'll do 2 more just like that, bringing a little extra awareness to our hands, gripping the earth with our fingertips, gluing the space between the first thumb and the finger down into the earth. And then let's go ahead and pause. We'll bring our big toes together at the back of our mat. Let's sink the hips towards the heels, making our way into an extended child's pose. So for this one, let's keep the arms extending forward, inviting the shoulders to reach up towards the ceiling. We might feel the elbows lift up slightly as well. I like to be tented up onto my fingertips in this one, just so I can feel the shoulder blades lifting up and feel them solidly on the back of my upper back. On the next exhale, seeing if we can soften the heart down towards the mat any amount more. Maybe our forehead is touching the mat, or maybe it's resting on a brick or a book. We'll be here for 2 more cycles of breath, knowing that we can come back to child's pose at any time in our practice if we need a break, we need to catch our breath, or if we need to just check in. So let's take an inhale to come back to our all fours. And we're actually gonna come up onto our knees for this one. So if we need extra padding, let's go ahead and grab that padding. If we don't have something immediately accessible, we can always roll up our mat and create some padding that way. So let's come to our knees for a moment. We'll take the knees right underneath our hips here, and let's extend the right leg out towards the right side, inviting the toes to turn towards the long edge of our mat and gluing down the pinky toe side edge of our foot. Let's bring the hands to the hips and then press the hips forward. So notice here as the hips press forward, we start to feel a little bit of engagement in the glutes. We're gonna use that a little bit later in another pose. So just notice it, bring some awareness to it here. Start to see what that feels like. Shoulders are stacked right on top of the hips, and we'll melt the shoulders down and away. Let's take the left arm, inhaling, big breath here, exhaling over towards that right side. So right hand can either stay on our hip or maybe come down to our thigh or down to our shin, just not right on the knee itself, somewhere above or below. Revisiting that side bend a little more deeply this time. Inhale, create some space. Exhaling, reaching through the fingertips as we anchor the shoulder into the socket. And then anything that feels good for the neck here. We can look down or straight ahead, or maybe even up underneath our arm. Full deep cycles of breath. And then let's inhale, lifting all the way back up. Good. We'll exhale, bring our hands down towards the floor here. So now we're kind of in like a little tripod position. Let's take a big inhale, lifting the heart, scooping the tailbone under just a little bit so that we have a nice, long, flat, neutral spine. And then on our exhale, let's see if we can soften the shoulders so that the heart melts down towards the mat any amount. Maybe we stay here, or if we'd like, we can start to walk our hands over towards that right side, maybe making our way towards our toes a little bit. Let's keep a strong press down to that outer edge of the right foot and feel a gentle lift of the inner arch. So we're activating the outside and inside of the leg as we melt the heart down over towards that right side. Continuing to lift the right shoulder up and away. Sometimes it kind of melts down or hinges towards the floor, but let's keep the shoulders squared today and just soften the heart down towards the mat. Getting that nice big stretch in the leg, some gentle engagement in the low belly around the belly button to keep the spine gently tucked. Nice and long, last breath here. Good. On our next inhale, let's walk the hands back up and over towards the center, and we'll tent our right fingertips up in front of us, kind of in the middle of our heart, or right in front of our face, so the midline of the body. On our inhale, let's sweep the left arm up towards the sky, and on our exhale, we'll thread that arm through. So just for today, we'll take our left hand more towards the right foot. And here's a great place for a book if we need some extra support to lift the floor up a little bit. Starting to twist our heart over towards that right side. So let's keep the right elbow pointed up towards the ceiling. And then make this pose your own. So only go as far as feels good today. Maybe you're just resting here with the left ear on the floor. Or maybe you're starting to spin the heart a little bit more so that now you're more on the back of the head a bit. We can use that right hand as some leverage, continuing to angle that right elbow up towards the sky and feel that right shoulder blade coming more onto the back towards the spine. Last breath. Good. On our next inhale, let's release. Bringing the right hand into our line of sight, we'll press the floor away as we come all the way back up. Let's take a little counter twist here to open up towards the left side once again, and then both hands back down to the mat. Good work. Let's bring the knees together or back underneath us, and we'll just move the spine around here in any way that feels good. Maybe cat and cow is nice again, or maybe we're making some circles, or just kind of looking over one shoulder and then the other. Whatever feels good in the spine here. So as always, we're listening to our own bodies today, only going as far in each pose as feels good to us in our body. So let's go ahead and come back to our standing on our knees position again, and we'll repeat that same sequence on the second side. So let's extend the left foot out towards the left side of our mat with the toes towards the long edge. And we can make adjustments here if that doesn't really feel good on the ankle, but let's make sure that we're pressing down through the pinky toe side edge, really glue that into the floor. And then invite a gentle lifting up through the inner arch, activating that foot, activating this leg, starting to squeeze skin to muscle, muscle to bone, and then gently pressing the hips forward. Notice the glutes turn on again here. Enjoy that engagement of those massive muscles working. Let's put those buns to use, huh? And then inhaling, we'll take that right arm up, exhaling over towards that left side. Good. Left hand on our hip or our thigh, or maybe down towards our shin. Whatever we did on the first side, let's see if we can do that here as well, unless that causes pain. Sides are different, so if there's something on one side that needs special attention or tending to, let's do that. Good. Breathing here. Beautiful. Last breath. On our inhale, let's use it to lift us up. And on the exhale, we'll bring hands to the mat. Beautiful job. So that left or right knee is still right underneath the hip. And we shall take a nice big inhale here. And on the exhale, let's just soften the heart down towards the earth. Gentle engagement of the belly button, lifting in and up towards the spine. Scooping the tailbone gently under. Nice long neutral spine here. Maybe this is where we stay, or maybe we travel over towards the left. Finding that side bend, that almost like a twist. Not quite a twist, but more of a bend, more of a hinge at our hips, and then a melt down towards the floor. We'll keep that left shoulder gently lifting up, parallel to the floor, shoulders squared. Softening the heart down towards the mat, breathing into the low body, breathing into the heart space. Last breath. Good. On our inhale, let's use it to come back towards the center here, and we'll bring our left hand right underneath us. Let's tense up onto the fingertips. Hand in the towards the midline of the body. Inhaling, reaching the right arm up. On our exhale, let's thread the needle on the second side. So taking our right hand towards our left foot. And then fingertips on the floor. Maybe we even walk our hand a little more over our head. We can keep the elbow bent today to give us a little bit more leverage here. With that elbow bent and aimed up towards the sky, it helps to get that deeper twist right in between the shoulder blades. That's what we're going for. So taking the breath right into that space as well. Breathing into the back of the heart center. We'll tuck our chin towards our chest just a little bit, staying long in the cervical spine, the back of the neck. Belly lightly engaged in and up. Maintaining that long neutral spine, even as we open up into that right shoulder. Feeling that right shoulder blade moving away from our spine. Last breath. And then let's walk our left hand back into our line of sight. We'll press the floor away to lift back up. Let's take a counter twist here. So left hand on the floor again, inhaling right arm up, opening our heart, exhaling both hands down. Beautiful. Let's bring that leg back in, and we'll move our spine around a couple times, a couple breaths here, or maybe child's pose is where we land. Just integrating what we did a moment ago, those postures, that sequence, and then moving the spine around. Good. All right. So let's bring our forearms down to the floor. So forearms are down on the mat. This is a great place for bricks or books if we have them. So we can do this on the mat, but it's a little, I mean, we could do it either way. If we don't have bricks or books with us, it's okay. We can still do this on the floor. If we do have some kind of a tool or a prop that we can use, we'll take the bricks about, I don't know, 2 or 3 inches apart from each other, so there's a little bit of space here. And bring those kind of towards the front edge of our mat. And then let's walk our knees back and bring our forearms down to the books or bricks. From here, we'll bring the palms together. Let's really press the palms wildly into each other. So even here, I'm feeling some engagement of the shoulders. I can feel the strength and power in my shoulders. So see if you can feel that too. Feel those shoulder muscles turn on and get strong. And then we'll walk the hips and the knees back a little bit. Let's scoop the tailbone under. And then from here, we'll start to soften our heart down towards the floor a little bit. So we don't have to come down really far. Please listen into the shoulders, only go as far as feels good. Toes can be curled under if that feels more supportive, or we can have the toes flat, whatever feels good and stabilizing for us. So allowing that heart to melt down. Keep lifting the bottom ribs in and up towards the spine. Good. Strongly pressing the hands into each other. Last breath here. Feel those shoulders getting nice and strong. Good. And then let's go ahead and release. We'll walk our knees forward and come off of our bricks. Let's send them to the side for a moment. Good work there. That's a really nice shoulder strengthening posture. So from here, I would like for us to make our way into standing. So whatever way works best for us. If downward dog is in our practice, we'll move through down dog. If it's better in our body to just come to standing, let's do that. And we'll meet in mountain pose. So if we're following along into downward facing dog, let's take our knees underneath our hips. We'll take our hands maybe about a half a hand span forward. Really glue those hands into the earth, grip the earth, and then inhale, curl the toes under, exhale, lift the hips, and make our way into down dog. So we can take our dog for a walk here, bicycling our feet a little bit. And then let's take an inhale, lift the heels up, exhale, melting the heels towards the floor. They may touch, they may not. Let's keep pressing the earth away with our hands, inviting our heart space up towards our hips. And then from our heart, let's inhale into the heart space up to the hips. And then exhale down the hips into the heels. On our next breath, inhaling into the heart, and then exhaling, melting the heart down as we press out through the fingers. Good. With bent knees or straight legs, let's walk towards the middle of our mat. We'll keep our knees nice and soft. Let's bring our hands to our hips, hug the elbows in, and then press through the feet, coming all the way up to standing. Good job. So, regaining our equilibrium. I know every time I come from a forward fold, I have a little bit of like vertigo-ish feeling. So if that happens for you too, just give yourself a breath, come back to equilibrium, feel steady, feel stable, and let's come to mountain pose for a moment. So we'll spread our toes, pressing down through the space, the ball mound under the big toe, the ball mound under the little toe, and the heel. And then from the center of our foot, feel a lifting feeling all the way up the body, traveling up to the crown of the head. Softening the shoulders down. And then let's today take our palms forward towards the wall in front of us. And just notice here how when we draw the shoulders onto our back, and the tiniest, gentlest engagement of drawing our shoulders down towards our hips, how that starts to create a widening across the collarbones. We feel the tiniest little back bend here. So even mountain pose is kind of like a standing little baby back bend. Reaching up through the crown of the head. Eyes can be opened or closed as we check in here. Let's keep everything else, but just fold the hands in right over our heart center. And feel the breath moving through us. Feel the gentle swell of our heart space as we inhale. And notice how the heart gently softens away from our hands as we exhale. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Breathing in love, compassion, empathy for ourselves and others. Good. And then let's go ahead and release our hands and widen our stance. So let's go ahead and widen our stance. Let's turn the left toes towards the left side of our mat, and we're gonna walk our left foot towards the left edge of our mat. And then with our hips, let's turn the hips towards the little edge of our mat, and we'll need to make an adjustment on this right foot. So we'll step the right foot over towards the right edge of the mat. So now my feet are practically as wide as the mat itself. You can bring it in a little bit, make adjustments so that you feel nice and stable. And then with those right toes, let's turn them forward a little bit. So when the toes turn forward, the knee will turn forward, the hip will turn forward, and then our hips will be squared to the little edge of our mat on the left side. Let's bring our hands to our hips and scoop the tailbone under. Let's get really strong and powerful in the legs. So press the feet and imagine like you're trying to make your mat longer. So feel the left foot energetically pressing forward, the right foot energetically drawing back, like we were gonna stretch our mat nice and long. Let's take a nice deep bend in that left knee. We might need to wiggle the foot farther forward to make that happen as we make our way into warrior one on the first side. So hips are squared. Let's keep drawing that right hip back as the left hip moves gently forward. And we're gonna get strong and powerful in this back leg. Hands on the hips to start with. And then let's sweep our left arm underneath our right arm. So maybe we give ourselves a big hug here, or maybe we bring the backs of the hands together, or maybe the palms can wrap around and come together as well. So eagle arms, strong, powerful legs, inhaling, lifting the elbows up, drawing the wrists away from the face. Feel that beautiful opening in the back of the heart center. And on our exhale, let's deepen into that front knee. Feel this right glute especially squeezing, getting strong here to help hold us. And then let's go ahead and release our arms. We'll bring our left hand. Let's take our left hand to our either right hip or maybe the back of our right leg, and then inhale, right arm up. So I apologize, I'm looking away from you here. But notice this little heart opening twist, bending into the left knee, last breath. Good, inhaling, we'll come all the way back up, and then let's step the feet together and find mountain pose. Just pause. Catching our breath. Ooh, I almost fell over, you guys. I had my eyes closed for a moment. So eyes closed if that feels good. Notice what you notice, feel what you feel. Maybe one side of the body feels energized or lighter or heavier or whatever, and just notice that. There's no right or wrong answer. And then when we're ready, let's blink the eyes open and we'll explore warrior one and those couple of variations on the second side. So from our mountain pose, let's take our right foot forward towards the little edge on the right side, and we'll take our left foot back a bit, and nice wide stance. The wider our stance is, the easier it is to adjust our hips. If we're on this little tightrope, then it gets really hard and it also gets really wobbly. So make sure we're nice and steady. Excuse me. And we'll take those left toes, turn them a little bit forward. Let's start to fire up that back leg. So squeeze the glute, energy in this back leg here, in the thigh, pressing down through the back heel. And then bending into the right knee, making adjustments as we need to, maybe walking that foot further forward so that the knee is right on top of our ankle. Good. Shoulders over hips, breathing into our lower body. And then we'll incorporate the arms. So let's sweep our left arm. Wait, we did that one already. Yeah, so this time right arm underneath our left. Maybe we give a big hug, seeing if we can hold on to the shoulder blades. Maybe we stay right here. Or maybe the backs of the hands come together, or maybe the palms. If we're here, if we're giving ourselves a big hug, let's just stay here and breathe. If the arms are intertwined in any way, any other way, inhaling, lifting the elbows, making some space in the back of our heart center, and then drawing the wrists away as well. Breathe here. Beautiful job. Let's go ahead and release the arms, and we'll take our right hand towards that left hip or left thigh, inhaling, reaching up, little back bend here, staying deeply bent in that right knee as we twist our heart over towards the right side. Only going as far as feels good. Keep those buns nice and engaged to help protect the low back. Last breath. Beautiful. On an inhale, let's come all the way back up, and we'll step the feet back together, making our way into mountain. Beautiful job. So I love doing at least those couple of standing poses to really help open up our heart space and create some energy. We'll blink our eyes open. Let's go ahead and make our way onto our belly, please. So we'll come back onto our mat and make our way onto our belly. Beautiful. So we've got the front of our heart space gently resting on the earth. We can stack our hands on top of each other and maybe rest our chin here or the forehead, and just take a moment to enjoy the floor. We might wiggle our hips from side to side, letting our heart be cradled by the earth, feeling the earth's heartbeat in synchronicity with our own. Good, just enjoying the floor for a moment after the hard work we did standing. And then let's make some adjustments in the legs. So we'll lift up the right foot for a moment, reach the toes back towards the wall behind, and then see if we can place all 5 toenails down on the floor. And let's do that on the second side. So we'll lift our left leg, reach, 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 create some space in the hip flexor, and then all 5 toenails down on the floor. So let's press the tops of the feet wildly into the earth and just notice how that activity kind of lifts the knees and engages them. Let's scoop the tailbone under. We'll feel the belly button start to lift in and up. And then let's bring our forearms down to the mat. So elbows underneath our shoulders, rolling the shoulders away from the ears, and sink our heart space into cobra pose. So tucking the chin slightly towards the chest. Sometimes when we get in cobra, we end up jutting the chin out a lot, and that puts a lot of strain on the back of our neck. So today we'll feel a gentle tuck and a draw back. Almost think like we're gonna create multiple chins, which I probably will here, but let that happen. Remember, no judgment, no expectation. Shoulders melting down and away, and then starting to pull the hands energetically back towards the body. Last breath here. Good, and then let's soften down. Ooh, feel the back of the body working. We can rock the hips from side to side, strengthening those erector spinae muscles, the muscles that run along the sides of the spine that help our posture, helping to also support our heart center. Good. So let's explore that posture one more time. We'll come back into Sphinx pose, bringing our arms flat, our forearms down on the floor, wrists pressing down. Let's engage the legs, so pressing the tops of the feet into the earth, feel the knees lifting up, and then rolling the shoulders back, so top of the head bones reaching back and down. Feel the shoulder blades come more solidly onto the back, almost like we were gonna slide the shoulder blades into our back pocket. Good, and then that last little bit of drawing our elbows towards our body just helps to activate this posture a little bit more. Beautiful work. On our next breath, let's go ahead and release. Softening down, rocking the hips. We can even windshield wiper the legs from side to side if that feels good. Very nice. All right, for this next one, you go ahead and stay where you're at, but I'm gonna turn because it'll be easier. And that way I won't run into the wall. So let's remain on our bellies. we'll take our left hand out towards the left side. So here's where you're gonna wanna kind of play with the angle a little bit, and you might not know until you get into the pose where the arm needs to be. So we can make adjustments later if we need to, but for now, let's take the left arm out with the hand slightly higher than the shoulder. And then we'll tent up onto the right fingertips. And let's start to walk our left hand over towards the left side as we start to turn onto that left side. So this is clock pose on the floor. It can be pretty intense, so please listen into the body. And if we want a little bit more, we can take this right leg, the top leg, and step it either in front of our left leg or behind. And if we go behind, let's let the hips kind of draw towards the earth a little. It'll happen naturally, but just soften into the hips and notice how it deepens into that front of the shoulder. Nice big breaths here. We can do this posture standing up as well with the use of a wall. Good. So if that sounds like a better idea, please make use of that if it's available. On our next breath, let's make our way all the way back to our belly and just pause for a moment. We can wiggle the hips again, or windshield wiper the legs, and just breathe here. Good. Let's explore this clock position on the second side. We'll take our right arm out, fingers, palm just slightly higher than our shoulder. Let's tent up onto the left fingertips, left elbow pointed towards the sky, and then we'll walk our right hand as far away as we possibly can. If it feels okay for the neck, let's rest the side of the head on the floor. If we need some support, we can slide a brick or something, or a block, a book underneath there if that works better for us. And then anything with the leg. Listening into the shoulders. See, this side is a little different for me today, so I'm not gonna go as deep, I'm not gonna go as far, but I'm still gonna keep those nice deep breaths. When we find the sensation, or when we find a place where it feels like the breath gets stuck, that's how we know we've gone too far. We can back off a little bit and then send the breath into those tight spaces. Let the breath open it up. Good. When we're complete, let's roll back onto our belly. We'll bring our arms in. We can rock our hips or windshield wiper the legs. Beautiful job. So let's carefully bring our hands underneath our shoulders, and we'll press ourselves up and back into child's pose. So moving carefully. We've been on our our belly for a little while. So just moving slowly. Good. Nice full breaths here. Beautiful job. Let's extend the arms and we'll come back to standing on our knees one more time. So this is another good one to do up against a wall if we have it available. I'm not going to demonstrate it at the wall because all you'll see is my back, but I can walk us through it. So if we have a wall, we would press the front of our thighs all the way into the wall, and we would want the front of our hip bones to touch the wall as well. So the reason the wall is really cool is because we can use it to continue to press into, and if we feel ourselves moving away from the wall at all, we know that means we need to press into it even more. So we're gonna come into camel pose, Ustrasana, which is a nice big heart opening. But we're gonna take it to where it feels good for us today. So no need to go any farther than what we feel in our own body. So we'll start by making some fists and bringing our hands to our very low back, kind of top of our booty area. So we've been talking about our glutes today. Let's start to squeeze the glutes, really feel them turn on. We're going to invite the glutes to help press the hips forward, and notice that this is kind of starting a back bend already. Maybe this is where we stay. So if we were up against the wall, we would be pressing our legs and our pelvis into that wall. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's where we are today. Maybe this is our pose. If we want a little bit more, we can take the left hand up. Keep squeezing those glutes, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze to press the hips forward, and then lift the heart towards the ceiling. So a lot of times where we end up injuring ourselves in back bends is we crash into our low back here. But we want to keep that lifted sensation, that lifted feeling, to keep space in the vertebra as we press those hips forward, heart lifting. Good. Let's release and just relax for a moment. If we want to come back into child's pose, we can. If we would like to come into anahatasana, puppy pose, we can do that too. So knees underneath our hips, walking our hands farther forward towards the front edge of our mat. Feel the shoulders lifting and the heart melting. Belly drawing in and up, lower ribs drawing in and up. Our forehead may not touch the floor this time. That's okay. Good, so let's go ahead and come out of whichever pose we're in, puppy pose or child's, and we'll make our way to standing on our knees one last time. So let's bring the hands into fists right at the base of our spine here. Activate those glutes, start to press the hips forward. Maybe we're using the wall, maybe not. Squeeze those buns, pressing forward. Squeeze the shoulder blades into each other. That helps to lift the heart space as well. Maybe this is our pose. Maybe we stay here. If we want more, right arm up. Notice how when we release that hand, we have to really engage the glutes even more because our hand was actually helping, assisting the hips forward a bit. So the low body has to kind of take that over if we release the hands. Good, and then let's release all the way out of the pose. Beautiful work. Child's pose is option 1. Option 2 is a little bit more active, making our way back into puppy pose. Hips and shoulders lifting, heart melting, belly button lightly engaged, lifting in and up. Beautiful long spine. Awesome work. Let's go ahead and release that, and we're going to make our way onto our back. So we'll start here in a seated position and bring our feet to the floor. Let's lift the heart. Excuse me. Lift the heart, melt the shoulders down. We can hold behind the legs, feel the shoulder blades kissing in towards the spine, and then let's lift the feet up for one boat pose. We'll just do one boat pose today. Let's spread the toes nice and wide. We'll maintain our core strength here as we keep lifting the heart up, spreading those toes. Last breath. Good job. Let's release the feet to the floor, and we'll hold on behind one leg and roll onto our back. All right, beautiful job. So let's bring our feet to the floor about hips width apart, and we'll walk our feet back a little bit so that our knees are right on top of our ankles. Let's bring the forearms, or sorry, the upper arm, the tricep, down onto the floor. And from here, we're gonna create robot arms. So the upper arm is down on the ground, the elbows are down, but the forearm is lifted and our fingers are pointing towards the sky, kind of like a little robot. From here, let's press the arms into the floor, the feet into the floor, and start to roll our way up into a bridge pose. Inhaling at the top and then exhaling, rolling the spine all the way back down. Inhale, press to the feet, press to the arms, lift up. Exhaling, releasing. Good. One more. Inhaling, pressing to lift, and we're gonna hold this time. So walking the feet in if we need to. Let's squeeze an imaginary ball between the knees to activate the low body, the inner thigh. Maybe we walk the shoulders underneath a little bit more, tucking the chin slightly in, but keep space underneath the chin like we were holding an apple. Beautiful. So the heart center is the bridge between the lower chakras and the upper chakras. In shamanism, we say that each chakra has an archetype that goes along with it. And the lower three chakras are all associated with animals, and the upper three chakra are all associated with personality types. So it's a connection of our base and our primary needs as a human body, connecting us with our secondary and equally as important needs as connection out to others, connection out to the universe, to the world around us, and even connection out to that higher being, the universe, God, if that's what we say, whatever we call it. And then let's go ahead and release. Good. We were there for a little while, so let's carefully hug the knees in towards the chest. Maybe we're making some circles around our sacrum, letting that go. If we're making circles, let's go the second direction as well. Good. We'll just rock gently from side to side. Let's release the feet back to the floor for a moment. And we'll find that same like bridge pose prep. So let's bring the feet to the floor, hips width, elbows to the floor, robot arms. And then just feel the heart start to lift. So rolling the shoulder blades under a lot. So we're only doing kind of the top half of that bridge pose. And this is actually a modified fish. Good. So pressing the back of the head into the floor. Keep pressing those arms solidly down into the mat. Feel the heart lifting up as if the chest were chasing the chin, but never quite reaching. A little engagement in the low belly to help keep the low back nice and strong. Last breath. Good. Let's go ahead and release, coming all the way onto our back. We'll hug the knees towards our chest once again. And then anything that feels good here. If we want to have the legs up in the air for a couple of breaths, we can do that. If we'd like to find happy baby, that's available. We can rock gently or stay in stillness. If we'd like to open the hips a little bit, maybe we find figure four and we can hug the knee or the leg in towards the chest. Just taking a couple of breaths, a couple of moments to do anything that our body needs in order to feel complete with our practice. So we didn't do a whole lot for the hips today, and the hips and the heart are actually connected. So maybe a hip opener or a happy baby is a great idea. The hips can often store unprocessed emotions. And of course, we know that the heart is a highly emotional energy center of our body and our being as well. So tending to both of these are really helpful for processing difficult emotions. What I love about it is that we can process through the body without needing to speak about anything. So actually, let's bring the bottoms of our feet together and we'll make our way into butterfly pose. If we have bricks or books, we can slide them underneath our knees, rolling the shoulder blades under a little bit more, just letting the knees gently fall open. Gravity helping to assist this opening of the inner thighs, the hips. Hands can land anywhere. Maybe the hands are resting on our legs, or maybe our belly, or maybe one hand on our belly, one hand on our chest. Just finding the place where the arms feel comfortable. Maybe even softening the eyes. We are welcome to end our practice in this pose, in Supta Baddha Konasana, this lying down butterfly pose. Or if we'd like, we can make our way into traditional Shavasana, extending the legs forward towards the front of our mat, letting the feet flop open. No matter where we are, let's roll the shoulders under a little bit more, just to ever so delicately lift the heart. And then if we're in traditional Shavasana, spinning the palms towards the ceiling, maybe even resting on the back of our second knuckle. Letting go of absolutely everything. Shavasana is our most important pose. All of the other postures leading up to Shavasana have been to prepare our mind and our body so that we can completely let go and receive in Shavasana. So maybe even taking a deep breath in through the nose and a soft open mouth exhale. Inviting our physical form to melt into the mat as we let go of our body, our mind, and even our breath. If you would like to remain in your Shavasana, please do. And if you're ready to bring your practice to a close, please begin to deepen the breath. Feel the belly rise and fall with each inhale, each exhale. Whispering gentle movement into fingers and toes, reawakening the body. Circling wrists and ankles, maybe even exploring a full body stretch, taking the arms overhead, the feet forward, letting the back arch away from the earth. Bending both knees and rolling to one side, pausing for a moment to be with the breath. The Buddha says, the way is not in the sky. The way is in the heart. And then with as little effort as possible, pressing ourselves up into seated, softening the eyes once again. Uniting the hands together in front of the heart space, bowing the chin towards the chest in a symbol of gratitude. Gratitude for this practice, gratitude for yourself, for coming to your mat today, for moving the body, being with the mind, and opening the heart. May our yoga practice be an opportunity for us to open the heart physically so that we can open the heart energetically, giving and receiving even more love. Thank you all so much for coming to practice today. Thank you for practicing yoga. Namaste. Beautiful work. Good job. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you soon. Questions, comments, concerns, interpretive dances, please reach out. Bye. See you next time.